Hello and welcome to another episode of Slice and Dice. And this is a very special episode because we have some very exciting news to say that we have just acquired our first
Ecom brand.
So now we are an Ecom SEO marketing agency that also owns an Ecom brand. So this episode is not really about e-commerce SEO strategies or kind of our previous episode structure. This is all about our brand acquisition, and we're going to walk you through pretty much our decision process step by step and kind of let you know exactly why we pulled the trigger and what our plans are to grow this brand going forward.
Yeah. And to start things off, I have the question that probably everyone will have when hearing what you just had to say, which is what was the primary motivation behind acquiring your own ecom brand instead of just continuing to work with clients like you have been for such a long time?
Yeah, it's a great question. So we got to a part on kind of a stage at the agency where we have like 35, 36 clients now, and it's going great. We rank number one for e-commerce SEO agency, Shopify, all the terms, and we're pretty much established in our small kind of micro niche that we're in. And it kind of always came up to me, and sometimes clients say to us as well, like, you're so good, like, wow, you've grown my business from 20,000 visitors to, I don't know, 90,000 visitors for argument's sake. Like, why don't you just do this with your own brand? And I was like, yeah, I don't know. And we see the amount of revenue we generate our clients, and it's just like, what are we doing? Are we in the wrong business here? And I thought it'd actually be a really good kind of case study for ourselves to say, we bought a brand, we've scaled it. So imagine what we can do to your brand. Like, we have tons of experience, and it's another USP for us as well. So it ties into my long-term vision of scaling ClickSlice. We're an ecom SEO agency, and anything to do with ecom, we want to have our hand in the pie, and this is like a perfect fit for that. And it gives us a really good USP as well when we're speaking to clients at the sales process. Like, hey, just so you know, I know more about SEO for ecom. I actually know all the operational and the logistical sides. I know what you think about. I know what you think about in the shower with your business, because I do the same thing for my ecom business. And it's pretty much just really getting stuck into the whole ecom world. We are fully committed to ecom as being our sector. We started off as a generic agency, obviously ranking for SEO Agency London and more SEO agency generic terms, but the clients that get the best results with us are all ecom, so it was just a no-brainer for us, really.
But this puts a little bit of a pressure on you as well, right? Being a successful agency owner that has been doing all of this with other clients.
Yeah, I thrive under pressure.
Perfect.
The whole team thrives under pressure. We actually released a YouTube video, which is actually out by the time you watch this video, and it basically goes through the whole process of acquisition. So we're not just putting it out here in a podcast, but actually documenting the whole process of growing the brand, and we're reading the revenue numbers, the subscribers, as it's a monthly subscription box business. So we're being as transparent as we can, and it does put a lot of pressure on me, but we do this for a living.
True.
So, if the pressure's too much or I feel like we're not growing it, then clearly we're in the wrong business and we don't deserve to be an agency.
Yes, true. And you mentioned a YouTube video, and for the people who haven't watched it, first of all, go watch it.
What are you doing? What are you doing?
Exactly. But for those people who are not familiar with the brand itself, can you walk us through the initial state of Knit in a Box when you acquired it, and what you saw as the biggest opportunity with this brand?
Yeah, so I should probably introduce. I didn't say what the brand is or anything. So the brand we bought is called Knit in a Box, which if you haven't guessed, is knit in a box. So we sell knitting kits. It's a mystery subscription box, so you actually don't know what you're getting until it arrives at your doorstep. So a lot of excitement and kind of not tension, I guess anticipation is building up around what you're going to get. And we have a community around the brand, and everyone gets the box on the same time. They're all sharing what they got. And it's a great model. Subscription businesses are really big at the moment, and it's a great way to capitalize on that. It's in a very stable niche as well, like knitting, crafting, whether it's crochet. You don't really see, wow, massive AI and you're just going to go down. It's very stable. AI doesn't affect these niches. So that was a big kind of attraction to me, so to speak.
Right.
The state it was in when we purchased it, it had 302 subscribers, I think, at the time of acquisition, which was October 2024, last year. The business was run completely by the previous seller out of his house and his spare bedroom. He was literally ordering all the stock to his house. His wife was in pick and packing all the boxes. Royal Mail was coming to the house, I think, once or twice a week to pick up some of the other kits, and obviously once a month for the main collection. So it was in a good position. They had a good community around the brand. They had almost 4,000 5-star reviews for the products, which is really, really strong.
A lot.
They had the community on Facebook with 2,200 members in there, I think, if I'm correct, at the time of acquisition. So it's in a very strong place. There's just so much more potential to it. And, like organically from an SEO standpoint, they wasn't on page one for anything.
Interesting. So now that you've actually gained this experience of what it's like to be an ecom brand owner and be in our clients' shoes, basically, how has owning a brand changed the perspective of on the advice that you give our customers nowadays?
I think the biggest realization for me, which might come across quite negative, but it's actually not, is SEO is not a magic bullet. I think a lot of brands, myself included, run an agency, kind of have the assumption that all brands need to do is just invest in SEO and they'll be good. And that is like so far from the truth. And I kind of always knew that, but it hit home a little bit harder when we actually acquired Kiab, because, I was under the impression that we just ranked number one for this and the business changes overnight. And I kind of overlooked a lot of other important keywords or other ways to market the brand that I wouldn't probably initially thought of if I didn't actually own Knit in the Box. By the way, Kiab is short for Knit in the Box, you didn't already realize. So I think, that is definitely the biggest takeaway. Any brand should be investing in multiple channels to grow the brand, because your customers just aren't on one platform. If you're selling on TikTok, for example, does that mean you have no customers on Google, no customers on Meta? Of course you do. So you should be on every single platform and invest in different channels to really grow the brand. Because if not, it's just going to take so much longer to grow the brand. And like, why are you wasting time? You know me, Mara. I'm very impatient. I like to scale, move fast, as quickly as possible. Of course, a lot of failures on the way, and sometimes we should slow down and look at things a bit differently, especially in hindsight. But it's a journey. We're having fun. We're literally transforming this brand from zero, or not zero, I should say, from what's probably a fair term, zero to hero. This is like from medium to speedium. Oh my god, that's so bad. Yeah. Creativity.
Let's not use that.
Creativity is not my strong point. But on the whole, to answer the question, like I said, SEO is not a magic bullet.
But Josh, of course, you still run ClickSlice, and now you are the owner of Knit in a Box as well. So that sounds like a lot.
It is.
There's a lot on your plate. And I had this really interesting question, which is, how do you balance the resources between growing your own brand and serving your agency clients?
Great question. Very easy. We are good at marketing, so we make sure we spend all our time on marketing and just that. So all of the logistical, operational side of the brand is outsourced to a 3PL company, a third-party logistics company. So we basically order the stock and send it to the warehouse. They then store it in the warehouse. When someone orders it, they pick off the shelf and post it. When it comes to our mystery kits, they will literally pick the stuff off the shelf. They'll fold the box, make the box, add the tissue paper, add the stickers, add the yarn, fold it, label, post-its. Like, we don't do any of that. And that's, you can imagine running a brand, like running clients, agency, and then packing boxes on the side. Like,
it would probably be impossible.
It's not possible to scale. And that's pretty much one of the main reasons why the previous owner couldn't really scale, because he was limited in how many boxes he could do every month, because his wife was doing the pick and packing and all the handling. So we kind of made a decision. We knew from the get-go we were just going to outsource it and just focus on the marketing. So really and truly for us, it's just like another client at the agency. Although one that doesn't pay us for our services, it does in other ways. But it's just another client campaign. We just do marketing. And all the operational side, in terms of, I won't say operational as a pick and packing, but actually planning the boxes, the products, that is handled by someone called Mara. So Mara is actually now our brand manager and is running the brand. Mara doesn't work on any other client sites, so it doesn't have any disruption or any disadvantage to our existing clients. And I think it's a very good setup, to be honest with you.
Yeah, it helps me focus on what we need to do for Kiab right now, which is great, because it helps the brand a lot. Yeah,
good. We've got Mara locked in. She's got the whole agency behind her on marketing. It's just the dream team.
Oh, that's so nice. So you mentioned how much the brand has grown since acquiring it. So people are definitely interested in how did you prioritize your efforts between SEO, website design, paid advertising when transforming the brand?
The first thing we actually done was the website revamp, if you remember.
Yeah.
So the site already ranked pretty well for like generic terms like knitting subscription service, but it didn't rank for knitting kits, right? So the site was already getting pretty much decent traffic every single month, but the site was just so badly laid out. And what we didn't want to do is acquire the business and then just change the color, change the theme, change the website, and kind of make it feel foreign.
Change everything, yeah.
Yeah, to the existing subscribers. Again, it was like over 300, so we didn't want to do that or upset our existing customer base. So we did a website revamp and just kind of polished it a little bit. And, we changed the product pages with a custom widget. We actually had a widget custom coded for us on every single product page, which cost a bit of money actually as well in hindsight. But I think it was a really good thing to do. And that basically increased our conversion rates. I can't remember the exact numbers, but it pretty much tripled the conversion rate. So already the site was generating more customers, more subscribers every single week from when we done that up until now. And we didn't even do any more money on SEO, no more money on paid ads, no more money on like paid search. It was pretty much just a small change. So it's knowing what to do. And obviously that experience come from us working with our clients at the agency. And now we actually say that to our clients in their own ecom brands. Why don't you do this? Because we've done it for our own brand and we saw an uplift by XYZ%. So yeah, we prioritized website revamp. Then we started the SEO pretty much in tandem at the same time. Or kind of lucky, advantageous having a team to do both at the same time. And yeah, we are actually now ranking on page 1 already for knitting kits. I think in position 4.
Woo!
Yeah, for context, we was page 6 before.
Yeah.
I'm already getting clicks and generating sales from that term, although we know attribution is horrible. So yeah, we just prioritize whatever makes the most amount of money quickest.
Interesting. So now that you're a brand owner,
sounds weird even hearing that. Sorry to interrupt you.
You were an agency owner. Now you're an agency owner and a brand owner at the same time. How has this affected your client selection process at the agency?
Good question, and it overlaps with kind of what I said earlier about SEO not being the magic bullet.
Yep.
Before I was on the assumption that we just had to do SEO, but now we don't take on any brands at the agency if they're not running paid ads or they're not doing email marketing or they're not doing anything else. If they just are doing SEO with us and that is it, and they're putting all the eggs in one basket and just hoping that they're going to rank in like 2-3 weeks time and we're going to make them so much money, we know that's not the right way.
There's so much more that goes into it.
Yeah, and I think having Knit in the Box and seeing what we do on a day-to-day basis, it gave us a lot more context. And I think a lot of agencies are actually guilty of this. They have one main service they sell, whether it's SEO, Google Ads, or paid media, or it's TikTok, whatever it may be, and everyone believes what they offer is the best thing for your business. But ultimately, it all depends on your business, where you're at on the journey, your budget, what stage you're at, and how much money you want to make, and how quickly you want to make that money as well. So I think there's so many different variables that go into it that kind of determine what is best. So for us now, we made it very clear. I've told Matt, my head of sales, who you would have seen on previous podcasts, that if they're only doing SEO, not a good fit for us.
Right. Well, it's interesting.
Yeah, it's quite backwards as well, right? Like you think that's the best thing because they put all the budget into SEO, and ultimately, like I said, we found the brands that get the best results are the ones that invest in multiple channels.
Yeah.
And if they invest in multiple channels, they get better results. They're more happy to leave us a 5-star review, and it's better for us in the long term. We've made too many mistakes in the past by taking on clients that we shouldn't have, just because at the time, this was obviously years ago, it made more sense on the financial aspects. And now, we don't have to kind of chase paycheck to paycheck. We can do what is best for us overall.
Yeah, but there's so much more that goes into it as well, and I'm sure there's challenges. And speaking of challenges, what operational challenges did you underestimate before becoming an ecom brand owner?
The biggest one by far is stock management. Like, I don't know, it sounds crazy me saying this, also probably semi-embarrassing on camera because it sounds so obvious. But because our background is always marketing, let's get more sales, more traffic, let's scale, we never once considered, do we even have this product in stock? Is it on the shelf? And I think we realized, was it 4 or 5 days after we sold out?
Probably, yeah.
Yeah, that we was running paid ads and we was ranking really highly for one of our really big terms. But then our sales wasn't going up. And I was like, what's going on? Is the website offline? I kept checking it on my phone, my iPad, my computer, my mom's computer, and everything was fine. I just couldn't figure it out. And then I realized, we have no stock. So I think as crazy as it sounds and as basic as it sounds, that has definitely been the biggest kind of learning lesson for me, is just to check our stock levels. Now we've got notifications, we get notified, we're way on top of that, as all you guys probably already have already. But I think, that was pretty much the biggest one. The other one, which I really do kind of hear all you ecom brands out there that are listening and watching, how unpredictable meta ads is actually insane.
Yeah.
One day we'll get 5-10 new subscribers. Oh, great. It's amazing. Next day, nothing. Day after that, nothing. Day after that, nothing. The next day, another 10 just coming. Like, it's so unpredictable.
Yeah.
And if you're a brand owner and you're trying to scale, you can't scale like that. You need predictability when it comes to marketing. You need to know what channel. You need to know your average order cost, average order value, sorry. You need to know your average customer acquisition cost. And meta ads, I don't know. Like, I see a lot of people talking about it online on Twitter as well and on LinkedIn. It just doesn't seem to be hitting as it was. And I'm very grateful and fortunate that we have other channels that are performing very well for us. And I think a big learning lesson from that is, don't put your eggs in one basket. And whether that's SEO, paid ads, paid search, paid whatever it may be, you want to diversify.
Definitely. In what ways do you use KeyUp now as a testing ground before rolling out new strategies to clients? Because you mentioned the unpredictability of some channels, and there's a lot more that you're learning now that you're an ecom brand owner as well.
Yeah, we've got so many. It's so exciting. So the world of search online as a whole, and especially digital marketing and SEO, is changing and evolving so quickly. Predominantly to do with AI search. A lot of people were searching on ChatGPT or using Claude or Gemini, and there's lots of things I'm kind of unsure about of how best to target or to rank in these AI search engines, Search GPT, and all these crazy acronyms coming out, right? And the great thing about having KeyUp is we don't have to risk any new strategies or tests on client websites. We can risk it on our own brand, which I know sounds crazy, but I don't mind, because if we can test something on KeyUp and we find this breakthrough strategy and we can roll it across our clients and they make more money, that is better for the overall agency at ClickSlice, right? So we're testing quite a few next-gen strategies on KeyUp as we speak. A lot of them are based around AI search, and we're already seeing lots of promising results. So I'm really excited to see how they perform in the next 2 to 3 months, and potentially you could see us offering these services at ClickSlice.
That's great. And because you're talking about learning lessons from KeyUp and what you should apply to clients going forward, what mistakes have you made with your brand that have become valuable learning lessons now for future clients?
Over ordering stock.
Right.
Another stock related one.
Yeah.
So to give some more context about the brand, we have knitting kits for like ladies items. So you can make a ladies jumper, a ladies scarf, scarf's kind of unisex, but whatever. I'm something for ladies, right? We then have products for childs and then for babies. And normally we look at how many sales we did for the baby box last month. And okay, we did 200. So this month we'll probably do 250. So let's order 350x. And we didn't realize that the baby and the child box alternate in genders. So it's baby boy, baby girl, child girl, or baby girl and baby boy, right? And then child girl and child boy.
Yeah.
Yeah. So even trying to remember this is like sometimes confusing me. And we have different subscribers of different genders. And what we found is kind of quite obvious. The boxes related to females, whether it's baby girl or child girl, are more popular than baby boy and child boy. So it has a big difference in what we have coming every month because the boxes alternate. So we ordered way too much stock for the boy equivalent of our boxes. And that was a very expensive mistake to learn. I mean, we still got the boxes in stock, right? And we're going to sell them eventually, but it did cause a lot of issues with cash flow initially.
Yeah, it has. And as you said, it's very, very unpredictable. And forecasting these future sales is very hard. But we're, of course, learning how to do better and how to not make the same mistake twice and how to not over order in the future. And and we're on top of it, I feel like.
Definitely, 100%. We've improved a lot.
We're learning more and more. But you've been familiar with SEO for so many years and you've worked with so many clients. But how has owning a brand affected your timeline expectations for SEO results?
I shouldn't say this on camera and video.
Uh-oh.
But SEO doesn't actually take 6 to 9 months to kick in and to work.
Who would have thought?
It can work in 6 to 9 weeks.
Wow.
Sometimes even sooner. So we have done a lot of SEO on KeyUp and we actually ranked on page 1 in 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks for some really big money keywords for us. And they're producing insane results, both for one-off sales and for subscribers. So I think understanding that, and obviously I kind of knew this already from running an agency because some clients rank like that and some take a little bit longer. It all depends on the keywords and the niche, but there are so many niches out there that are just not competitive. And some of them look quite competitive as well because you see like massive sites in the SERP. So like if you're selling, I don't know, shower trays, you're going to see Wix, B&Q, maybe Homebase, and think, oh my God, I can't compete with those. And when you start to dig a little bit deeper and go through the data at a granular level, you'll see like they're not actively spending any budget trying to rank those pages. It's just an overall domain authority. And the same logic applies to Knit in the Box and probably so many other industries out there. And I think a lot of brands just get kind of intimidated. Oh, I can't rank for that. Amazon's there, eBay's there, Home Bargains is there, Walmart, whatever one in the US, Target. And, you'd actually be pretty much surprised. A well thought out SEO campaign that's structured and follows the best practices at a high quality level is always going to perform.
Totally agree. And that's a very good learning lesson for our audience as well. Brands out there, don't assume that SEO just takes 6 to 9 months. It varies, of course. And for the agency owners out there like yourself that are considering acquiring a brand in the future, they're maybe inspired by this episode and by this whole story. Now that you have this experience, what would be your top piece of advice for these agency owners?
Acquire a brand that supports the overall goal of your agency. If you're trying to acquire a brand to just have another additional income stream, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yep.
I know I'm nothing against that whatsoever, but ideally your main focus should be the agency, and anything you acquire should support the overall goal of the agency. So for us, we're an ecom based agency, so we acquire an ecom brand. No brainer. We have a team in place to scale it, and it also comes as a case study as us, and also gives us a USP to tell other ecom brands that we're trying to close for the agency, hey, we own an ecom brand as well. So it's a full 360 moment. And I think a lot of people kind of get sidetracked to say, I'm great at marketing, I'm great at SEO, I'm great at paid ads. Let me just buy this brand and run paid ads to it and just, do whatever, right? I actually had a few agency owners message me like, oh yeah, I want to buy this law firm and rank it in Chicago. And I'm like, dude, you're an SEO consultant in Cardiff. What do you mean? They're so different. How is that going to support your overall goal? And I think it all comes just having clarity. What are you actually trying to do, and why are you trying to do that? Because we could have acquired any business, right? And this brand in particular was probably one of the most hardest ecom brands to acquire because of the nature of the product changing every month, being a mystery subscription box. But again, it just goes to show it can be done. Yeah. And I like this one because it's a higher barrier to entry. I like to do things that a lot harder to replicate to make sure we maintain our USP for as long as possible.
Yeah. And we're also learning a lot more from it being so hard to run. And I feel like this episode has been very, very interesting. And there was a lot of great information for everyone watching out there. So thank you for answering all of the questions. And we'll see you in the next one.
Thanks for watching. See ya.
Bye.